Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
6 members of the Mitchell Post-18 Varsity Legion baseball team are officially charged with rape. Hudson Haley and Landon Waddell face the most charges. They're each accused of having 2 victims. Court documents say the other players are accused of sexually assaulting 1 victim.
Back in June, the Mitchell Baseball Association suspended the team because of possible player misconduct. The crimes allegedly happened when the team was in Pennington County for a tournament. If they're found guilty, they'd each face a maximum of 100 years in prison. All 6 suspects will be back in court in February. The Pennington County State's Attorney's Office says other adults with the team could also face charges if they knew about the crimes and didn't report them. Sioux Falls police are trying to identify the person involved in a shooting that sent a woman to the hospital. It happened around 1:30 Tuesday morning near 6th and Spring, about 2 blocks west of the county building downtown. Police say a 45-year-old woman was shot in the arm and leg.
She was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say the woman couldn't identify the person who shot her. Investigators are using surveillance video from the area in hopes of identifying the shooter. Sioux Falls police are also trying to find the people involved in a crash and robbery. Officers say 2 vehicles crashed around 4 o'clock Tuesday morning along East Rice Street.
Investigators say a woman in the vehicle who caused the crash pepper sprayed the driver of the other car. The victim got out of the vehicle. Police say that's when the suspects stole her car. Authorities say the victim was not seriously hurt.
Now let's get a chunk of our weather with meteorologist Scott Munt. Those temperatures continue to slide, Scott.
Oh, we're looking at temperatures today in the 60s for afternoon highs. Some of us may hit the lower 70s. This will happen as skies become mostly sunny to partly cloudy. We'll have a westerly wind come in, averaging around 10 to 20 miles per hour. Windy for tomorrow. There's a secondary front that will move through late tonight into tomorrow. Behind it, we'll have strong northwest winds. That'll help bring in the cooler air. We're talking about the possibility of frost as we start the weekend. More details on your forecast with Brian coming up.
Thank you, Scott. Hundreds of residents in Hamlin County gathered in Hazel, South Dakota, Tuesday evening to hear a proposal by one of the largest dairy farms in the country. Riverview detailed their plan for an $86 million dairy farm. The facility would span 250 acres and hold more than 12,000 cows.
The land would be provided by Governor Kristi Noem's brothers, Rock and Rob Arnold. Mayor of Bryant, Wynn Noem, attended the meeting to share his community's experience with Riverview Dairy Farm over the last 5 years.
They bring economic development that is piece by piece, little by little, but our sales tax revenue has doubled, almost tripled in 5 years. Our total valuation of property in the town has doubled in those 5 years.
Riverview representatives plan to apply for permits next in the process. If a picture is truly worth 1,000 words, then there's a lot of stories being told in the Cathedral Historic District of Sioux Falls. There are 8 new signs, like this one with old pictures depicting a part of Sioux Falls' past.
They were the idea of Adam Weber, who is the historical board member. He likes how the pictures tell the stories of people we've never met.
Down the street, there was a gentleman who he was respected by, they said, every walk of life respected this man who passed away. And they said the procession to his funeral was the longest at that point in Sioux Falls history.
The Cathedral Historic District is the oldest historic district in the state. Weber, who paid for the pictures thanks to a grant from the city, is hoping to get 6 more of these pictures placed in the neighborhood. The apple picking season is still going strong at Hoverston Orchard.
The 20-acre orchard near Brandon has about 5,000 apple trees, half of which are Honeycrisp, and you're currently able to pick 7 of their 20 varieties of apples. The owners say this has been a banner year and share a few keys to success. Some you can control, others you cannot.
You don't want any bugs, so you got to stay after them every week to 10 days and keep the bugs and the worms out.
This was a bumper year for us this year. The apples were great. The rains came at the right time for us.
After a dry June and July, the orchard received about 8 inches of rain in August. Hoverston Orchard is located a few miles northwest of Brandon and is open Wednesday through Sunday from noon until 6 p.m. and hopes to stay open into November.
That's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, watching the forecast for apple picking and all of that, I think overall we've got some nice fall weather coming around the corner. Today, definitely cooler. We're down in the 60s for highs. Most folks will be between 65 and 70. Now, there are some showers that could come back to the forecast in northern South Dakota this evening. We'll watch this secondary front. See that around Aberdeen? You know, there could be a little rain here. I don't think it's going to last long, but just a little front here to watch. And speaking of that front, northwest winds are going to get energized behind this, and we're going to watch that forecast getting into Thursday. It looks like right now, yeah, cooling down a few more degrees, and then even more as we get into Friday. We're going to probably struggle just to get into the 50s across portions of South Dakota. Here's a little closer look at that. And again, today, well, not so bad, but see how tomorrow, 50s, mid to upper 50s, Sisseton and Watertown. You put the wind behind that, and the feels like temperature is even cooler. And then by Friday and Saturday, I think we're definitely in fall mode here. We could see a couple of light instability showers in the air too. So be prepared. Yep, big change in the weather. Highs today, 68 in Pierre, 68 degrees also in Yankton. Here's your 7-day forecast, and 50 by Friday, 55 Saturday. Note the lows. We could be frosty. We'll keep an eye on that. Right now, Saturday morning is the coolest of the bunch, but even next week, we're getting some new indicators that we might have a few more 30s by maybe the tail end of the 7-day forecast. So that's pretty much common, though, this time of year. We're supposed to be getting these 30s. Aberdeen in the northeast, 52 on Friday, 57 Saturday, 67 by Sunday. Moderation there early next week a little bit. And for Pierre in central South Dakota, we'll be likely in the low 50s on your Friday. Then the weekend turns out, I think, pretty good, actually. 61 on Saturday, but 70 on Sunday. And Rapid City should have no trouble warming back up as well, at least into the upper 60s and low 70s by early next week. Check out more details, coverage of your weather online at KENNELLAND.com.